What if I told you the Coen brothers wrote their masterpiece in 1987, but nobody ever saw it? The script exists. The story is complete. Yet this movie was never made. Today, we're diving into the greatest film that doesn't exist. The Coen brothers have a secret vault of unmade movies. One stands above all others. In 1987, Joel and Ethan Coen finished writing The Contemplations. This wasn't just another script. It was their most personal work. The story follows a small-town philosopher who runs a failing bookstore. He discovers that everyone in town is living the same day over and over. Think about your morning routine. You wake up at the same time. You brush your teeth the same way. You drink coffee from the same mug. Now imagine if that routine never changed. Not just your routine, but everyone else's too. That's the world of The Contemplations, the main. Character Harold slowly realizes the truth. His neighbors repeat the same conversations daily. The mailman delivers identical letters. The local diner serves the same special every single day. But Harold remembers everything. He's the only one who knows they're trapped. The Coens crafted this as their deepest exploration of fate versus free will. Their other films hint at these themes. No Country for Old Men questions destiny. A Serious Man examines purpose, but The Contemplations would have been their definitive statement. Studio executives loved the concept. They called it Groundhog Day meets Kafka. But there was one major problem. The budget was too high for an art film, too experimental for a blockbuster. The project fell into development hell. The script still exists in the Coen Brothers files. Film scholars who've read it call it haunting. They describe scenes of Harold trying to break the cycle. He changes his routine. He screams at his neighbors. He even tries to leave town. Nothing works. The most powerful scene involves Harold sitting in his empty bookstore. He's surrounded by philosophy books, books about meaning and purpose, but none of them can explain his situation. He's living proof that some questions have no answers. Have you ever felt trapped in your routine, like you're living the same day? Repeatedly, that feeling would have been the heart of this lost masterpiece. The Contemplations had everything that makes Coen Brothers movies special, but it would have pushed their talents further than ever before. Their best films balance comedy with existential dread. Fargo mixes murder with small-town politeness. The Big Lebowski turns a simple case into cosmic absurdity. The Contemplations would have perfected this balance. Picture this everyday scenario. You're stuck in traffic every morning at 8:15. The same cars, the same radio DJ, the same frustration. Now imagine that's not just your experience. It's the same traffic jam, playing out identically forever. That's the kind of horror comedy The Contemplations would have delivered. The Coens excel at characters who don't understand their world. Marge Gunderson can't grasp senseless violence. The Dude can't follow complex plots. Jeffrey Beaumont can't escape suburban darkness. Harold would have been their ultimate confused protagonist. What makes this script special is its structure. Most Coen films follow their characters toward inevitable doom. The Contemplations breaks that pattern. Harold's doom isn't death or failure, it's eternal sameness. The Coens called it the horror of perfect predictability. The visual style would have been revolutionary. Imagine every shot perfectly symmetrical. Every camera angle is identical to the previous day. The cinematography itself would have reflected the time loop. Roger Deakins wasn't their regular cinematographer yet, but they planned to work with him on this project. The dialogue would have been pure Coen Brothers magic. Harold starts each loop trying to have different conversations, but everyone gives the same responses. His desperate attempts to change things would have created both comedy and tragedy. This film would have arrived before Groundhog Day. It would have been the original time loop movie. Instead of Bill Murray's comedy approach, we'd have gotten the Coens' darker vision. Philosophy instead of romance. Existential questions instead of easy answers. Think about the movies that changed your perspective on life. The Contemplations would have joined that list, maybe even topped it. Hollywood wasn't ready for the Contemplations in 1987. The film industry had specific rules about what sold tickets. The Coen brothers were still new filmmakers. Blood Simple had impressed critics but barely made money. Raising Arizona was just hitting theaters. Studios saw them as promising but risky. They weren't bankable yet. Think about buying something expensive online from an unknown seller. You might love their product, but you're nervous about spending your money. That's exactly how studios felt about the Coens in 1987. The Contemplations needed a specific budget to work. Not blockbuster money, but more than a typical indie film. The time loop concept required precise technical execution, multiple identical sets, perfect continuity between scenes, detailed special effects for the loop resets. The script also demanded a star who could carry philosophical dialogue, someone comfortable with big ideas and complex emotions. In 1987, that meant expensive actors, the kind that studios only gave to established directors. Marketing presented another challenge. How do you sell a movie about being trapped in routine? The concept was brilliant, but difficult to explain in 30 seconds. Movie trailers in 1987 were simple, action scenes and romantic moments. The Contemplations had neither. The Coens pitched it to every major studio. Universal passed. Warner Brothers said no. Paramount wasn't interested. Each rejection cited the same concerns. Too weird for mainstream audiences, too expensive for art house theaters. One executive famously told them, "Make Raising Arizona 2 instead." The brothers refused. They believed in their vision, but they couldn't find anyone willing to fund it. The project got shelved after 18 months of rejections. The Coens moved on to other scripts. They never officially cancelled The Contemplations. It just faded away from active development. Some industry insiders blame the failure on timing. A few years later, after Barton Fink won Cannes, studios might have said yes. By then, the Coens had proven themselves. They could get weird projects financed. Do you think timing matters more than talent in Hollywood? This lost masterpiece suggests it does. The Contemplations would have changed cinema history. Its absence created a ripple effect we're still feeling. Today, without this film, Groundhog Day became the definitive time loop movie. Bill Murray's comedy dominated the concept for decades. We got laughs instead of philosophical depth, entertainment instead of enlightenment. Nothing wrong with that, but imagine what we missed. Consider this comparison. You have two restaurants on the same street. One serves comfort food that makes you smile. The other serves challenging cuisine that makes you think. Both have value. But if the second one closes before opening, you never know what you missed. The Contemplations would have established the Coens as serious philosophers, not just clever filmmakers. Their later films might have been different. More studios might have funded experimental concepts. The entire landscape of independent cinema could have shifted. The script influenced filmmakers who read it. Christopher Nolan has mentioned studying its structure. David Lynch called it a perfect nightmare. These directors learned from a movie that was never made. Imagine if audiences could have learned from it too. Film schools still teach from the leaked script pages. Students analyze Harold's character arc. They study the Coens' approach to repetition and variation. The Contemplations became a theoretical masterpiece, a ghost that haunts film theory classes. The themes would feel even more relevant today. Social media creates loops of repetitive content. People feel trapped in endless scrolling cycles. Harold's bookstore prison mirrors our digital prisons. The Coens saw this coming 35 years early. Modern streaming platforms might have saved the Contemplations. Netflix funds weird projects. Amazon takes creative risks. The movie could exist today if it had been written in 2020. But that timing shift changes everything about its impact. The absence of this film represents something larger. How many great ideas never reach audiences? How many masterpieces die in development meetings? The Coens created something special that vanished. Into Hollywood's machine. What other lost masterpieces are sitting in writers' desks right now? We'll probably never know, and that's the real tragedy. The Contemplations shows us what happens when great art meets bad timing. The Coen brothers created their most ambitious concept, but couldn't get it made. We lost a philosophical masterpiece that would have redefined time loop movies. Instead, we got glimpses through their later films and leaked script pages. What lost movie do you wish existed? Share your thoughts in the comments. Like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe for more film deep dives.